Democrats take up House Bill 219.
Should I go first?
So I'm going to defend myself from that. My constitutional right to defend myself.
I love a sense of humor. Chairman, committee members, thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Tom Mines. I'm from Caldwell, Idaho. You know, the one thing I never thought I would ever have to do is to be able to stand before my own government to be able to try to teach them what the principles of freedom look like. The Second Amendment is kind of a funny thing. It's something that's written in basic language. It's something to be able to be understood in basic language, as the Constitution and the laws really should be. The Second Amendment really says that the rights shall not be infringed. Okay? There's no manipulation. There's no interpretation. The Supreme Court doesn't even have the authority to be able to dictate, to be able to interpret the Bill of Rights, because it was contrary to that very idea. It was the rights that were declared among the people to their government to be able to say, this is what you shall not do. You shall not tell me how to pray. You shall not tell me that I don't have the right to self-defense. The idea that we would sit here and try to play this game or whatever, that we actually support the Second Amendment, I think is a little bit of a hooey, because the Second Amendment is very clear. The states have the authority and the right to be able to force the federal government to be able to stand down. And the state needs to do that to protect its people. You know, we're seeing with the healthcare exchange and the guns, we're seeing a full frontal assault by a dictator of the United States that can write executive edicts that some of our sheriffs are willing to support.
Please tone it down just a hair, would you?
Okay. The idea is if Idaho can write bills, if we believe that we're truly sovereign, which I wonder, then how is it that our sheriffs, that are our last line of defense, think that they're going to protect us when they believe that a presidential edict is actually the supreme law of the land, when in reality their job is to protect the rights of the people, as government is. Governments were created by the people to protect the people, not to be able to have us stand here and to be able to beg what is rightfully ours. Our rights are inalienable by God. It means they can't be taken away. The job of government is to preserve the principles of freedom to us and our posterity. Every legislative session, we get to sit and we get to take time away from our work, our 9 to 5, in order to put food on our table, to be able to ensure that our government is actually preserving that freedom, when in reality, every single year, we have 500 bills that restrict the rights of the people. Are we aware in this committee room that the federal government's characterization of mental health is used to be able to strip the very rights from the people? Is it true? Is it understandable that the federal government now has declared war on its own citizens? It's bought 2 billion bullets. It's created the NDAA. It's created targets with white pregnant women and children. It's got armed drones. You know, at what point?
Sir, we are discussing here a very sensitive issue, and I think you can see from the tone of this committee that they haven't asked a lot of questions, and we're not going to tolerate this kind of rhetoric being used in this committee room. Now, we realize that what we're doing here is reinforcing Second Amendment rights. Everybody in this committee knows that, and we don't need that tone to be used here, especially on the legislature of the state of Idaho. I'm going to stick up for the entire legislature. We too take time from our busy schedules and our regular occupations so we can be here. This is what I tend to term as an opportunity that I have to serve that costs me. It doesn't pay. So we're not full-time people. We're citizens just like you, and we're just as sensitive as you are to these issues. And we don't need this kind of rhetoric here in the room. And I apologize for the lecture, but you need to understand that I think the majority of this committee, if not all of us, are very sensitive to what is happening in Washington, and we also recognize that we want to defend Second Amendment rights. This committee has voted repeatedly that way this year.
Well, what's important to me,
Mr. Chairman,
Crane?
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I interrupted to object. I think that I understand the gentleman's frustration. I share a lot of his frustration, but I think that he needs to keep his discussion to the merits of this legislation and not other pieces of legislation or the things that are happening at the federal level.
what I was basically trying to do is...
There's
I would move for the question. We have a motion on the table.
The motion is to, see, what is the proper motion?
Move for a question.
The motion is, he's moved to the previous question, which effectually cuts off debate and also testimony. It's not a debatable motion. You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried. Committee, the motion is to send House Bill 219 to the floor with a due pass recommendation.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's all. Did I cut off?
Is there further discussion on the motion?
No, that's okay. Don't worry. I mean, it's the right
Thank you,
time.
Mr. Chairman, and I just wanted to thank Representative Patterson and Representative Boyle for their hard work on this issue. And I did want to echo what Mr. Toiber had to say, and that is that this is about protecting not only our citizens, but also protecting those who protect us, and that's very important to me as well. And I wanted to echo what he said about, we really do. My sheriff is sitting in the front row, and we have an amazing, not only amazing sheriff, but an amazing working relationship with our federal partners through the FBI, the Marshals, ATF, and what they've done through the Metro Task Force. And never would we do anything to jeopardize those relationships or the success that we have seen through those partnerships. And so I want to thank them and thank you for protecting us.
And your chairman has just messed up. Debate has been concluded. And that was my fault. The motion is to send House Bill 219 to the floor with a due pass recommendation. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? The ayes have it. It will be sent to the floor. Representative Patterson will be carrying that. Would you like to be recorded as voting no? Representative Whittings, Representative Smith, Representative Gannon. Thank you.